Hi guys, BVG Hill here, and welcome to episode 6 of Neo Scavenger. Alright, last time, if you remember, we finally got that quest for the Hatter. I think we did. Hold on. For use at Camp Grayling, alright. Can we go back in here? The Hatter's on important business. You see, I swear we got it. Camp Grayling should be somewhere up here. But it's not marked for some reason. I don't know. But today I think we're going to spend a lot of time, you know, just running around trying to get better gear and maybe some bullets for the rifle, because I did a little research and this supposedly is one of the ways to complete the game, is to infiltrate Camp Grayling and get the information that the Hatter's client wants. And apparently it's really hard, and I would assume that it would be because it's the end game, and this game is not very forgiving at all. So with all that being said, I should probably get better gear. So I'm actually gonna go up and out. And I also read about a place that's north of Gaija's cryo facility called Zom Zoms, and I might fast forward till when we get there. And if you guys don't like me looking online, I apologize, but I just don't want to screw anything up here. We're gonna scavenge for some food here because, and there's really not gonna be anything here, is there? Oh yeah, there is. Eat the berries. So we're gonna head and turn. Okay, you guys are gonna come say hi to me. All right. I don't know who these guys are, but if they kill me, I'm gonna be really upset. Please just talk to me. Okay, good. Just keep your nose clean and we got no trouble, he says through his face mask. Okay, so they're not bad guys. That's good. No useful items found at this time. So we're gonna kind of sort of, where we want to be is, I believe it's somewhere in this area. So I want to go do that. And we'll do a little scavenging along the way. I'll cut a lot of it out so you guys don't have to see the boring stuff, and so I can get at least all the way there in this episode. And we'll sleep for a little bit. Oh, great. Wait. Let's offer a ceasefire. No? Okay. Please no. We're not doing too hot right now. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. We're not doing too hot at all. So we're just going to make a push for Zom Zoms, or whatever the place is called. Oh, great. Let's take cover. Okay. Okay. Take cover. Search. Search. It's a feral dog. Sprint away. Let's just run. Run, run, run. Get up. I know, we're thirsty. Let's just push for it. Let's just push for it. As you pick your way through overgrown ruins, a peculiar sound becomes briefly audible. It disappears, but picks up again in a moment, as if carried by air currents. It's a distant humming, like a small gas engines, out of place in the stillness of empty forests and abandoned buildings. That doesn't sound good. Or maybe that's Zom Zoms, I don't know. Aha! That's different. Maybe that's it. Let's go. As the source of the distant sounds finally comes into view, you stop in your tracks, unsure whether it's safe to continue. Ahead, you see a titanic warehouse, like one of those distribution centers from before the apocalypse. There is a dull roar of ethanol generators, combined with the occasional rev of unsuppressed exhaust from off-road vehicles. Figures seem to be milling around a low extension on the right, and the occasional ATV arrives or departs without fanfare. You don't think you've been spotted yet, this far out, though with all the activity it's hard to tell. Alright, let's take a look at it from afar here. Peering into the distance, you see a bright sign reading Zom Zom's, a place to eat, hanging over a giant garage door. Fenced off behind tarp and barbed wire, bright lights, welding arcs, and peculiar shadows can be seen in the fenced area, and more lights from within the warehouse. A semi-trailer attached to one of the loading bays acts as a makeshift gate and pedway into the warehouse. Ragged-looking figures line up alongside the trailer, watched over by armed mercenaries. It looks more like a club than anything else, except for that tarp area. Then you see it, a truck on the other side, offloading prisoners or slaves of some sort. That doesn't bode well, but then again, people come and go freely everywhere else and are entering voluntarily through the pedway. Let's go up. Let's go. While in line, you feel a flutter of anxiety each time the line advances. With each step, you try to catch a glance of what's through the doorway in the trailer, but you still can't tell. Most of the people in line are ragtag looking, wearing mismatched clothes and stinking of sweat. Some confused, others bored. The guards are better groomed by comparison, though you suspect they'd just as soon murder you for your clothes if they weren't being paid. Up a few wooden plank steps, you step inside the semi-trailer, and hollow sounds of a crowd echo down the narrow corridor from the warehouse. To your right is a chipboard and mesh booth where an attendant is collecting fees and weapons and stamping people before they walk down the trailer into the warehouse. Stock or spectator, the attendant drones, looking disinterestedly past you. We'll say spectator. What you got? Looking behind her, you see eye slabs, shoes, and sundry items. It looks like there are definitely some items they'll accept more than others, at least today. How about the smartphone? You offer your item, which she stashes in a metal locker. Hand, she demands, reaching for a stamp as you present your hand. She applies a symbol and number, then nods to another grizzly merc who checks you for weapons. He tosses your confiscated items into a numbered bin and ushers you down the trailer. Inside, it's 1 part super club, 1 part gladiator pit. A wall of sound assaults your ears as you cross the threshold. Part human cacophony, part generator exhaust, mostly frenetic industrial music, and the smell of food and smoke. You can't hear it over the noise, but you can feel your stomach rumble at the smell of sweet barbecue. The cavernous warehouse is dominated by a dirt-floored arena with high mesh walls. Spectators ring the pit on 3 sides, the 4th reserved for a large garage door leading outside into the tarp-fenced courtyard. Beyond the door, you catch the flash of welding arcs where it appears scrapyard robots are being prepared. And opposite the garage door, the thing you really care about right now, a wide booth with grills spewing sweet and spicy smoke into the rafters above. People clamor to get at it and walk away with their prize smeared over hands and lips alike. Barbecue. You wade through dirty patrons, intent on manhandling some ribs, or beans and rice, or whatever it is they've got cooking over there. Who knows how long you've been in cryo, how long it's been since you've had a hot meal. Pressing your way through this final wall of hungry patrons, you get an elbow on the counter and desperately try to make eye contact with one of the servers. A few eternal minutes later, one of the apron-clad food slingers glances at you, and you nod like an excited dog. He reaches into a smoker box, withdraws a loaded skewer, and places it in your hand. Sweet, succulent barbecue. Savoring it at first, you start to grow paranoid that it'll be snatched from your hands, and you bear down on it with renewed fervor, huddling with it against your lips as you absently walk away from the grill. We's hungry. This meat, it's like good, fully developed veal, not young, but not yet beef. Yes, very definitely like that, and not like any other meat you've tasted. In fact, so much so that you think no person with a palate of ordinary, normal sensitiveness could distinguish it from veal. It's mild, good meat with no other sharply defined or highly characteristic tastes, such as, for instance, goat, high game, and pork have. The steak is slightly tougher than prime veal, a little stringy, but not too tough or stringy to be agreeably edible. The roast is tender and in color, texture, and smell as well as taste strengthens your certainty that all the meats you habitually know, veal is the one meat to which this meat is accurately comparable. Just then an announcer pipes up with that same oscillating voice every strip club DJ seems to have. He starts hyping the crowd. "Can you count, suckers?" he shouts. Patrons start yelling back. "I said, can you count, suckers?" On cue, a testosterone-fueled wave of shouts comes from the floor. "Raise those numbers," he calls with expectation, and everybody raises their fists in unison. The music changes, lights switch to UV, and numbers appear on all the stamped hands. Your heart starts to race as you realize what's happening. Looking around, everyone has a stamp most like yours. They all have numbers, but it's clear now what the symbols are. Patrons like you have silhouettes of vultures next to their numbers. Those unlucky few who don't have lambs. The announcer calls a number, a low number. Feeling somewhat relieved, you raise your hand above your head. Patrons around you look up to it for a moment, then continue scanning the crowd. A scream of protest erupts from the far side of the arena. Everyone nearby looks across where a commotion is starting. A man is hoisted into the air like a crowd surfer at a concert and propelled to the arena gate. Patrons claw the remainder of his barbecue from his flailing hands, fighting over it like dogs. Guards wrangle the struggling man and toss him onto the dirt floor in the arena as the gate is sealed behind him. The winner is a filthy, weak, and confused-looking human. As he clambers to his feet, a clacking and squeaking sound crescendos from the opposite side of the arena. Cheers start erupting through the warehouse as the source of the noise rolls into the arena through the garage door. The bot is little more than a heavy-treaded ring of barbed spikes. A haphazardly hung LED ticker sits atop its mass, flickering the words "Morning Star," confirming your suspicions as to its nature. Without pausing, the bot starts closing in on the human, who, to his credit, has given up rattling the gate and is now facing the more immediate danger. He starts circling left, leading the bot to one side of the pit, then dashes right as fast as he can, bypassing the bot. The move buys him a few seconds as the bot spins in place on its treads, but he ends up in the same situation on the reverse side of the arena. This continues for a few laps, with the human visibly wearing down. Perhaps realizing his error, he switches tactics and leads the bot towards a support column and allows it to get close before ducking around behind it. The bot starts turning in place, but the tread gets hooked on the pillar, and for a moment, it appears to be stuck. You can sense the tingle of hope in the man as he watches the bot rock to and fro for several seconds. However, the bot's rocking eventually frees it, and it turns to face him again. Crestfallen, the man returns to his original strategy of dodging the robot like a bullfighter, ever more slowly each pass. Doesn't take long for the robot to wear down its already weakened prey, and it scores its first hit, trampling his leg under treads. The man's cry of pain is lost in a wave of cheering from the crowd as the robot backs up. The man hardly has time to limp before it rams him again, this time following through and impaling him against the wall. He's done. The sucker's done. Drunk with bloodlust, the crowd is now screaming as the robot backs away once more from the stumbling, bleeding man. The bot rams him into the wall one more time and backs away, this time with a human stuck in its spikes. The crowd cries out in ecstasy, which eventually simmers down to a rabble as the arena service personnel remove the entrails. Nice. Your mouth agape, you suddenly feel a wave of nausea. You begin looking around, panicked. And we'll see what happens next, why not? Unsure what to do next, you look around the room anxiously, waiting for something to happen. Word is, you've got a good medical plan. The voice startles you, even amidst the shouting crowd, and you turn to find a young man with an old face. He looks to be of Asian descent, with hair like a mop, big aviator glasses, and an improbably white fur coat. Relax, I don't work here. In fact, I'm going to try to make sure you don't either. Come on. He turns and heads towards the garage door. Since that's away from the arena's human-sized gate, you decide to follow. You get the sense he's a patron too, or at least not with the management, as neither guard nor patron seems to pay him much attention. It's hard for me to think of voices for these people because I can't actually see a picture of them. A little bird told me, he shouts over the crowd of music. You might know a thing or two about cryogenics. He talks over his shoulder as he walks, as if tossing words your way. I know a guy who's looking for some heavy-duty cooling units. He may be willing to trade for some info on where to score a few. You arrive at the massive garage door, and the cool air seems tinged with ozone. His name's the Stoat. Come on, dude. I'll introduce you. Out in the robot prep yard, mechanics are tending to their creations. Your companion stops alongside a tall robot, reminiscent of a farm combine. You shudder to think of what it does to a human with those blades, but then something inside moves. Crawling out the feeder house behind the blades is a mechanic who looks around and, satisfied, waves another out. The second looks more like one of the patrons than a mechanic, starved and scared. The pair skulk along the fence line and disappear out of sight. Fur coat guy turns back to you with a proud yet devious grin on his face. The Stoat is pleased to make your acquaintance. Now, about that medical plan. He suggestively taps his wrist. Yeah, why not? I'll give him the bracelet. You snap the printed bracelet from your wrist and hand it to him. He slides it through his fingers, reading the lettering on the strap. Nice, dude. He bobs his head. I may have to do an expedition there. And, nice name. Ha. He pulls a box out from under a flight case near the combine bot. Here. He opens the box. Unclaimed, lost, and found, let's say. Okay. I don't really have anything here. Forget about it. He looks over your shoulder. Oh, also, you'll probably want these back. You turn and see a familiar face from the front gate. She drops your checked items in a lockbox. You cast a glance back at the Stoat, and he shrugs. What? I can't do this alone. Your safest bet is to go along the fence where they went. He thumbs over his shoulder, indicating the route the mechanic and patron followed. Unless you're still hungry. He laughs, mocking a vomiting notion. See you around, dude. he calls over his shoulder, walking back to the warehouse. Stoat's friend waits as you gather your things from the lockbox. Better make sure you empty that locker while you have the chance. Once ready, you head along the fence, back to the relative sanity of the wastelands. Where... Okay, here. Okay, there we go. Empty out. Okay. Where's my bag? Oh, great. Just great. I lost my freaking bag. Are you serious? Are you being serious with me right now? Might as well take this. Actually, no, we'll take this boot. No, take the boot. Seems part of my stuff has just magically gone missing. Fantastic. Well, that sucks. So we're gonna need to find tarp here pretty soon. Well, I think I'm gonna end the episode there. It was pretty eventful, and I'm not entirely sure what kind of meat we ate in Zom Zom's. Might have been human. I dread the thought, but it is what it is. Gotta do what you gotta do to survive, I guess. I don't think I would eat human flesh, though. But we're actually in pretty bad shape here. We're hungry, we're parched, we're weary. But we are also unburdened, comfortable, and we're healing, so we'll see what happens next time. I'll probably just do a lot of looting next time. And I don't know. Yeah. If you guys have any comments or suggestions on games to play or things I should do in this, let me know down below in the comment section. And remember, if you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button. If you really liked it, make sure to share it with your friends, family, random people on the street, whatever floats your boat. And with that being said, I'm BVG Hill, and I'll see you in the next one.